Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the CORE Xfinity Series presented by simraces.com. Race number 3 here tonight, and we head up to the New England area, and we get to see some 1 mile flat track racing up here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 85 laps on tap here tonight. Looks like we got a little over 30 drivers out here ready to rumble as well. Carl and we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, the drivers are going to get to do one thing here tonight that they really haven't had a chance to do that much this season. I mean, we started at Charlotte, had Michigan last week, but this week they're going to have to use the brake. Hold that thought 1 second, Jimmy. Let me try and get you going here again. Okay, as I was saying, you have to use the brake, Jimmy.
Yeah, what's that thing?
Yeah,
I feel like it's deja vu here. No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the brakes needed here tonight, along with some patience, Carl, throttle control, and, there's a lot of coasting through these corners once you get that thing slowed down, with a little bit of trail braking as well. So it's going to be interesting, and obviously, we're here on a flat track, so position is, pretty much, everything. But as you can see on screen up front here, we do have Alan Elwood up front again. So, the same drivers kind of poking their nose up there, getting ready to make this thing go. But this is, different. Things can happen. You can get into lap traffic pretty quickly. It's more of a driver track, not just like pedal to the metal, like you said. So that brake pedal is very important here tonight. Looking forward to seeing which one of these drivers can actually get out here and do their thing.
Well, Alan Elwood now 3 for 3 with poles. Did not win at Charlotte. Got stolen with the strategy there from Kelly Pointer, but he did win last week. See if he can go back to back with getting the pole and the win here tonight. But Jimmy, why don't you give us a full rundown of tonight's starting order?
A quick rundown of tonight's starting order is going to be. It's going to be Alan Elwood on the pole, outside being shared by Tyler Skozen and Jonathan Schwartz there on row number 2 with Tommy Ryan. Jack Stoneman and Kelly Pointer make up row number 3. James Hislop and JP Phillips make up row number 4. Courtney Nelson and Dave Tilford make up row number 5 with Chad Coleman and Zane Bierman in row number 6. Row number 7, Colin and AJ Roderick there on row number 7 with Ricky Renner and Matthew Simmons on row number 8. Dan Phelps and Jeff Ryan make up number 9. And then the rest of your field here back on row number 10 is going to be Jake Lesh and Matt Crockett. Row 11, it's going to be Nathan Nickerson and Joe Thomas. Row 12, Terry Jansen and Jeremy Gainey. Row 13, Stephen Harris with Datelin Drummonds. Joey Cruz and Josh Van Wessen back on row 14. Robert Matthews and Troy Snyder back there in row 15. Row 16, Michael Schwartz with Luis Orduna, Gary Wright, and P number 33. And yes, that's the rest of the field. So 33 drivers here tonight for 85 laps. Let's get her done.
Yeah, it should be a good one out here tonight, but it's definitely going to be different, as mentioned, because we're going to be using the brake pedal out here tonight. You got to be heavy on the brakes in these corners, entering these corners, but it's a long rotation. It's only a mile track, but for some reason, Jimmy, that it takes so long, it seems, to get to the point where you can finally get on the throttle out of these corners. I mean, you have to really let the car get into the corner, rotate, and then when you finally feel like you can slowly start working that throttle back in and really going on it, that car can still step out on you. The car can really jump out on you. So you got to be really careful with that throttle position coming out of these corners before you can go full throttle. But pace car is going to be making that left-hand turn, nothing too violent like we see at Michigan and some of the other tracks here. A little bit smoother coming in here at New Hampshire, but it's going to be in control here by Barney. For the start of this thing, he's got that green flag ready to wave, and we are racing here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, way to go down into turn number 1 to get things started. Hoping for some green flag race, so we can see Matthew Simmons back there in the Valvoline machine. We got
a car around in the back. Looks like the 134 going around here in the back. That is Stephen Harris. bring out a caution here. We'll take a look at what happened here, if he did it by himself or if he got any kind of help. Looks like he's back here by himself, just overshoots the entry a little bit, and then maybe locked up, didn't want to get into the back of Van Westen. Goes around here. 28 of Joey Cruz just gets on by, but then the 53 of, it was a 53 of Ricky Brenner, I believe, gets tangled up in this one. Troy Snyder, actually it's the 453. So we're just gonna get a 4 on the front of that 53 right there for Troy Snyder, but he gets tangled up here pretty hard and got some damage to that one. 202 Michael Schwartz just coming out of the pits. But that is going to bring out our first caution here. Had some more issues here as we were going. Trying to see what happened here as Terry Jansen catching back up to the field here, but not sure what happened. Jansen had a pull off the track and towed it back to pit lane. So not sure what happened here with the 00, but we do have some takers to pit road already, Jimmy. I mean, we just started. And already, 4th place, Tommy Ryan, and you got Chad Coleman, Jeff Ryan, Matt Crockett, Josh Van West, and Joey Cruz all in the pits. Plenty of them were up there in front. Maybe Joey Cruz, you maybe got a piece of that one, but all the others definitely were not involved in this incident. And yet they're taking a pit road here on lap, was it lap 2?
Yeah, who knows what kind of pit strategy that they're trying to execute here early on. And, you know, obviously each driver gets out there and tries to do their own thing. So yeah, it's you know, I guess we'll find out what their plan is here tonight. But right now it might be just a touch of fuel, but it's kind of early for me to be going in, especially if I'm up front. But maybe just something not feeling right coming down and making a slight change, or maybe that little extra fuel that they might need for the whole thing. I don't know.
Well, we're going to get this thing back underway this time, as it's going to be Alan Elwood and Tyler Skosen again on the front row. Jonathan Schwartz, Jack Stoneman for row number 2. And hopefully we can get through those first couple corners. It just, you still need some time to settle in to the car, settle in those tires in as well, get them warmed up, get them nice and toasty. This track is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Flat track racing, it's why Jimmy thinks that this thing is a short track. Even though it's a 1 mile track, the flat trackness of it is exactly why it can drive a little bit crazy. As not sure what happened now here to Tommy Ryan as we're ready to get back going. Looks like coming back out of the pits. And it had to slow up for whatever reason, so not sure what exactly is going on here tonight, but either way, we're going to get back live because we are...
Maybe I'd allow a few cars to catch up. They did extend the caution, so maybe just some cars out of order, trying to catch back up to the field, and obviously the infield admin that's out there, one of them throws through the caution and let everybody catch up, and that's pretty much the gist of their duties out there, just to try to keep everybody in order before the start. But we're extended the caution here, but the lights are off in the pace cars that work their way down the back stretch, working now into turn number 3.
So it'll actually be Alan Elwood, Jonathan Schwartz on the front row, and then the UNOH boys of Tyler Skosen and Jack Stoneman in row number 2, Kelly Pointer, James Hislop in row number 3. Pace car lights are out here once again. Looks like we are now good to go. Going to make that turn into pit lane. So once again, we'll get that green flag here. As Alan Elwood shot out of a cannon here. Good restart here for the 5 as he heads off into turn number 1.
Yeah, I don't think Alan's going to complain too much with everybody driving. You know, getting out there, obviously being able to get out in front. So definitely, you know, it's good to be out front when it goes for restarts here on these short tracks or flat track.
It's great sounds here with all the cars zipping by there on the backstretch as we're going to come out of turn number 4 complete. The first lap under a green here tonight, as a bit of a spin out sideways there in the back for Terry Jansen, so still having some issues in the back of the field. And now Dan Phelps is actually going to bring out a caution here see what happened. This is going into turn number 1, and so maybe a little neck coat started that thing, but then Phelps going to go around, gets tagged again here. It's Nathan Nickerson getting into the side of him. Going to bring out an early caution. Troy Snyder, the 453, is somehow going to have a meatball after that one. Not sure what happened. You see that that front left, Jimmy? It's supposed to be turning, I believe.
Supposed to.
Back here, and he was the one that we seen actually in the wall on that front stretch. I thought it was Terry Jansen, but Jansen having some issues here tonight. Not sure what's going on with the 00, but see right there the 453 into the inside wall, and is able to get around the 85 at least here. But gonna bring out another caution here, and we'll get you back live, see if we have any more takers to pit road as pace car finally picks up the field.
Yeah, I think obviously obviously it's this track's not like the first couple that we've had, and it takes a little bit of driving. Here's a skill jump here. Obviously 1 mile track, low banking in the corners, and then that's what you find. Obviously. The drivers overdriving the corners, getting on the throttle too much, especially when the tires aren't warm, destroying tires because they're overdriving. So there's a lot of learning here for some of the like we'll say junior drivers. Those are people that have not as much time on these tracks, and for races like this, where you're out there for 85 laps, you kind of want to have some practice and make sure you can get going and stay green for more than 5 laps at a time. So definitely the drivers in the back are still working things out, but a meatball is flying there for Snyder as he's got that thing inside to get repaired.
Yeah, not sure. I think he was involved in that first incident. I'm wondering if he used a fast spare already on that first incident, and now he's stuck because he's got that meatball. He's going to have to repair it a long way. So not a good start to the night for the 453, but definitely want to shout out all the drivers out there. Good sized field out here, and we've seen kind of both ends of the spectrum here at New Hampshire. We've been here and ran 80, 90 laps caution free, and then we've had the other end where we've had 15 plus cautions for the night. So in New Hampshire, it just depends on which face it decides to show that night. So hopefully just a couple little incidents here to start this thing, and then we'll get some green flag racing in. But it's now going to be a new front row with Jack Stoneman and Alan Elwood on that front row. Dallas goes in back there in third, or Jonathan Schwartz in Jonathan Schwartz in third. Dallas goes in fourth. We're going to get this thing back underway this time by, and hopefully get some green flag racing here and get a little run for these drivers to spread out here a little bit. It's not the easiest track out here, and there's a reason a lot of drivers don't like coming here to these flat tracks. But back to the restart zone, back to the hammer is the 5 of Alan Elwood. We're back to racing.
Yeah, back to racing is we're trying to get things done. You see Alan Elwood taking the extreme low line there, trying to get that car out in front of the field. But once you're out, like I said, if you're out front, you don't have to worry about too much except somebody ran in front and in the back end. That's why Alan took a little lower line down there through 1 and 2. But we got another wreck here as a car from out front gets turned around.
Yeah, it looks like Tyler Skozen involved in this one. And definitely some damage to the back end of that 55. So come back here and see what exactly happened here. Oh, got a little shot in the back from Kelly Pointer. And that's some heavy damage to the 55 right there. Luckily, everyone avoids him. A little brush there from the back actually takes off the back bumper. But he's going to get back going. Certainly some damage to the back of the 55, running up there in the top 5, but just got a little help into the corner from Kelly Pointer.
Yeah, and that's, all part of the money. Like I said, this is obviously, these cars don't have brake lights. So when somebody's on the brake, you got to notice that right away. And this is the first time this season that these drivers have had to deal with this. And, obviously short track doing short track things and breeding in cautions here early on. Only 13 laps in, and I believe this is the 4th caution. So, it's already, looking to be a very long one. So track position is going to be, very important here tonight. And, I'm sure these drivers want to get out there and get racing, but you gotta get out there and be able to complete laps and run with traffic. It does get overwhelming at times when somebody closes and you can't brake and steer at the same time. It doesn't work very well. So braking early is usually what drivers tend to do, but if somebody's overdriving the corner, they all run into you. So probably causes some of these drivers to actually overdrive their cars anyways. So yeah, Carl, I don't know what to kind of say. It's obviously, I guess, hopefully this evening, it levels out and the drivers are able to find their way here and get their groove back on. But early cautions plague tonight's race at the moment. But Alan Elwood enjoying that time anyways out front with not much pressure. But he has Jack Stoneman, Jonathan Schwartz, Courtney Nelson, and Kelly Pointer for your top 5. James Hislop, JP Phillips, AJ Roderick, Zane Bierman, and Matthew Simmons for your top 10.
Yeah, I think the driver just need to kind of, again, get a run going here, settle in here a little bit, let those tires warm up. But yeah, I mean, you gotta give some room out there, and it's not typically something we see from the 75 Kelly Pointer getting in the back of somebody there. Wow. But just maybe trying to be aggressive, trying to stay with that front pack, and trying to do well here in the beginning. But gets in the back there, and I'm sure a penalty post race maybe coming to the 75, but. We'll take a look here at the front again. We'll see Alan Elwood still out front, still enjoying this lead. Still a lot of cars that did not come to the pits at all. We had maybe a third of the field here so far come in, at least at some point, to take some kind of fuel to maybe switch up the strategy here a little bit. But we're back to the restart zone and back on the lap pedals, the 5, as we get back to racing here. Already 15 laps in the books. I know we haven't had that many under green, but the laps still tick by here pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty decent lap times under green. Obviously, they're right around a minute or so. So about 30 seconds, while they're under green, but not under green about a minute. So, but yeah, it's still a decent amount of time. Already kind of clicked through. As you see, we're about 13 minutes in. I've got a little bit of 3-wide action in the back. There's a Tommy Ryan trying to.
Maybe
find his way.
It's like a little spicy right there.
Well, Tyler Scosa back there.
I was
going to
say he got some fast cars in the back right now with Tommy Ryan and Tyler Scosa. I know Tommy put himself back here by making the early pit stop. Tyler had to get that car repaired. Looks like it's all cleaned up here, but he looks like he wants to get back up the front as quick as possible. But hopefully we keep this thing under green and we can see those cars work their way through the field. Up front, Alan Elwood leads the way. We'll keep an eye back here. It's still 3 wide coming off the corner. Jack Stoneman in second, Courtney Nelson in third. They got Jonathan Schwartz, James Hislop for the top 5, Kelly Pointer, AJ Roderick, Matthew Simmons, Zane Bierman, and JP Phillips for your top 10. And definitely going to shout out Zane Bierman here a little bit. Pretty good start for him. He hasn't had exactly a good start to the season. Comes in here with a few penalty points on the docket, but looking for a bit of a bounce back race here tonight. So far, jinx him, but he's got that 69 up there in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, just need to try to get a bounce back and get a good finish here. I mean, he's racing, obviously he's in 9th. I mean, would love to finish, first, obviously, but he's racing Matt Simmons, sitting there in P number 8. So only one position, and he's running basically second in the silver. Just like the gold drivers. You see up there, you got Kelly Pointer leading the way over AJ Roderick. So those are who are racing. And then back there, when you start looking at the bronze, it's all the way as Luis Orduna. Luis Orduna currently sitting up in P16, so having a really good run right now, up 16 spots. Matter of fact, through the accidents and the pit stops and all that stuff. So it's good to see Luis Orduna actually starting off a pretty good pace at the moment. Luis has had his trials and tribulations for sure the past few seasons. Looking to slowly see that that number 3 come around and get into a zone where he can get some good results and finish the race without wrecking too much. So you definitely tell a little bit greener out there, but definitely always out here each and every week trying the best he can. It does look like nothing going on right now. So I got a couple different monitors going here, trying some things out, but taxing the system just a little bit here tonight. I got SDK, got overlay, got OBS running. I'm not live, but I'm running everything just to kind of push the system a little bit. The change of equipment and trying to figure out what max limit is here.
It's a good save by Colin Flickinger in turn 1. Got a little sideways and almost forced it 3 wide there. Not by his wanting, but a good save there by the 67. Now you see the 51 of Jake Lesh to the inside here. Battle for 12th as they're battling right in front of him for the top 10 as well. This track can get a little spicy on entry here. You see that the 2 different colored pavement down there. You want to get down there on the bottom to get the better grip is down there on the darker color paving, but you can run this high line and kind of arc it down there and get a good run off the corner, especially through 1 and 2. But we're gonna have another caution here. Looks like the 11 of Gary Wright gonna be involved in this one. We'll take a look here one more time, see what brought this one out.
Yeah, looks like just maybe a accelerator.
Yep, missed a little. Well, looked like he gassed it up. He gassed it up a little bit and maybe got a little bit loose coming out of the corner and tried to check up. But unfortunately, there's nothing that the 218 of Joe Thomas could do there, and just kind of ran through there. But yeah, just a little loose coming off the corner. But now, Jimmy, now we're 23 laps into this thing. I'm feeling pit road might get a little busy.
Yeah. I don't know.
I could be wrong. As we already see the leaders going by, but this is surprising me. I mean, I know these cars can go a pretty decent amount on fuel here tonight, and I know we've had a few cautions start out this thing, so maybe the tires not wearing down that much, but it's still surprising that we're a quarter of the way into this race and we don't see drivers coming in here to take a pit stop. I mean, just the back half of the field. There's about 5 cars in the pits right now. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it really can. Obviously, some of the drivers really trying to work their way to the field, and somebody like Tommy Ryan, did he go in? No. Trying to work their way through the field and back up to the front and only up to P22. So it's taking them some time. So obviously, maybe he was hoping some of them drivers made their way through. Same thing with like Tyler Skozen that had to get his vehicle repaired. So, a lot of cars in the way, and you can see how difficult it is here to kind of pass. You really got to be able to outdrive your competition out there, and even as fast as those 2 drivers can be, they're still taking their time, obviously trying to be safe as well. So plenty of races still remaining here. We still have 60 laps to go. So it's still plenty of racing. I'm sure they'll have to make at least 1 pit stop, but in the back of their mind, you'd be like, well, if these keeps going like this, I don't think anybody can make it in 1 or no pit stops, but I'm wondering if there is the ability or even the chance to even think about something that long, or when is the max they can stay out there. I guess we're about to find out as we continue here tonight with Alan Elwood up front, followed by Stoneman, Nelson, Shorts, and Islap.
I want to once again thank our series sponsor here tonight, simraces.com, as definitely worth checking out. Still in the early stages, as we mentioned, but the idea behind simraces.com is to help merge virtual with reality for anything racing. Main focus being iRacing for now, but they will branch out to other racing in the future. We currently have a coaching platform built out with internal testers at the moment, and they also have some software in the works as well. But you can definitely check them out. You can take a look at their Discord right now, which is where a majority of everything is going on. You can get to that Discord by a link down below in the description, or you can go to simraces.com and it'll take you right to the Discord. But we've got a battle for the lead. Alan Elwood on the outside, Jack Stoneman dove it in on turn number 3. Now he's going to dive it in here in 1 and 2. But you see just a little better run on that outside is going to give the momentum to the 5. Coming out of the corner, they get close to bumping right there. 5 just about clear going into turn number 3, but again, 25 sends it in there. It's got to work, and you see him dirt track, and you can see him working that wheel from the camera point here. But we're going to have another yellow here, and this one is going to involve the driver you were just talking about here, a driver that came in early on a pit stop. Not sure if he got tangled up, and it sort of just went off track to avoid the incident, but we got Jeremy Gainey. Looks like both the Ryans involved in this one, so we'll take a look back and see what happened. 3 wide in front, and looks like Tommy Ryan maybe getting into Jeremy Gainey there going into the corner.
Yeah, it looked like Tommy just had those nose underneath, and Jeremy Gainey obviously wants to turn left, and it wasn't quite clear. But obviously he's spinning him around there, and Tommy getting a little bit into it here, and yeah, that's just the price of being back there, Carl.
Gonna be a few cars involved in this. It doesn't look like too much major damage compared to some of the other incidents here tonight, but again, now we're getting close to 30 laps into the race, and still don't see that many cars coming into the pits. We got a couple cars. Yeah, track position seems to be pretty big here right now.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about it like already. How long can you actually stay out there, right? So right now we know that they're out there 30 laps or 30, so they got 55 laps remaining. I'm gonna guess they're probably right around 50 to maybe probably 50 laps. I'd have to say around 50 laps. I would say they get a caution here, right around lap 40, like the halfway marker. I can see people, obviously coming in, but you would think maybe some of these drivers would kind of hop on coming in early, right around now, take a set of tires and get out there. If they just took their time, try to stay out of trouble, and when everybody pit, they can reverse the field if they keep the cautions like this, and then next thing you know, they could be up front, and your leaders could get involved in an incident because they're mid-pack, and you end up staying out front. So even though you're not the fastest, but because of your pit strategy putting you in a better location, you can find yourself in a top 5 or even a win.
But we still have a ton of drivers out front that have not come down in the pit lane at all. We got Matt Crockett currently the one leading in regards to anyone that's come down pit road. He pit on lap number 2. Top off on fuel. He's now up into 12th position. But taking a look at the drivers that have taken tires so far, the man that is up the furthest, Tyler Scosen. He went back to the back after he got involved in an incident, took some tires. He's back up to 18th right now on the outside after pitting on lap number 12. Dave Tilford right behind him, pit on lap number 23 to get tires. So he's got 11 lap tires that have been granted. Again, haven't had that much green flag at racing to talk about here so far. It's going to go back to the restart zone here once again. And Alan Elwood going to lead them back again to turn number 1.
Down to turn number 1 they go as Barney waves that green flag. Coming down around the corner, Alan Elwood still has the lead. Stoneman probably didn't want to see that caution, as he did get the chance to get that nose underneath the 5, making the 5 work that outside. So, but Alan was able to hold on to that lead before the caution came out. So that's why your leader is still the number 5. Back Jack Stoneman still trying to put a little pressure, but another caution in the back with the 119 and the 3.
Yeah, we just get talking about Luis Orduna having a good run, and you see him right there, up there in the wall. Maybe not having too good of a run anymore. We'll see what happened to bring this one out. Orduna getting a little too hot into the corner and into the back of the 119 pretty hard. So Robert Matthews, Luis Orduna involved in this one. Some pretty heavy damage to both of those cars. Going to bring us under another caution.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, Carl, drivers haven't been able to kind of get out there and get in a rhythm. You know, even if they're behind somebody, they're still trying to gauge, how the driver in front of them is braking their, when they're letting up, or when are they braking, how long are they braking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you just haven't been able to get in a groove yet tonight. We're at 32 laps in. We're already on, caution, I lost count, and, they're just still trying to find their way here tonight. And obviously, short track being short track, one of the reasons I don't care for them is shining bright here tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned it before the start of the race. I mean, we've had Charlotte, we have at Michigan. Yeah, you brake a little bit at Charlotte. Maybe you drag the brakes a little bit at Michigan, but here, you're using the brakes. You're fully on the brakes here. I mean, you're not getting so much as shifting or anything like that, but you're braking a good amount going into these corners, and everybody brakes different. I mean, you got some guys that like to back up the corners. You got some guys that like to drive it in there, and then slam on the brakes and brake really late. And you got some that are kind of in between, that just like to slowly drag the brake in there, or maybe have a little bit of drag in the middle of the corner as well, to kind of help get the car settled down and in there. So there's so many different ways to tackle these corners, and because these drivers really haven't had that much experience around each other braking, I think that's what you're seeing a lot of these incidents. I mean, pretty much every one of these incidents here tonight so far has happened entering the corners. So hopefully these drivers just kind of settle in here a little bit, give some room, especially going into the corners, and we can get some green flag racing in.
Yeah, it's just all about being out there, time on track. I mean, obviously we've seen a rare incident with Kelly Pointer up front and Tyler Scozen, but most of the incidents have been back a little ways in the field, where somebody just trying to get a spot, a little too aggressive, or just not paying attention, maybe missed their mark. It's so consistent here. It's like, or not consistent, but you have to be consistent, and being able to judge that driver in front of you. If you find yourself and they really haven't been able to get in that rhythm, but if you find yourself really closing in on somebody each and every lap, and maybe your braking point is later than the others, and you're going to find yourself, in some of these back bumpers. So, it's really hard to kind of judge that. You can see here riding on board with Joey Cruz down a little bit farther, getting able to get underneath and ride that line to get that car turned, but it's kind of get stuck because he can't float up to the top of the track. But at least he's got a clear road in front of him here. Somebody almost came down.
Oh, it looks like we had an incident at the front. See that at the windshield there, Courtney Nelson. But I mean, you see how long it takes to get on the gas there as well. It takes so long to get back up on the gas. And yeah, Colin Flickinger going to end up with a meatball on this one.
Meatball, black flags, everything
started up front. And you already see some incidents going on here, but it happened in front here as well. And it looks like Kelly Pointer again. Gonna be locking up going in the corner. We'll rewind it here a little bit and see. All right, there maybe gets a shot to the side, whether he moved up on Matthew Simmons or not sure. But I think then once you go into the corner, maybe a little bit too deep, locked it up. And
looked like right before you started the replay there, it looks like he shot to the left to avoid Matthew Simmons, but just a little hot and probably wasn't expecting the 29 to kind of float down as far, but come down and get across to Kelly's nose, and they ended up getting together. Kelly still had room down there, but I think he was running a little hotter, and then obviously the pile up behind, 4 to 218 to 69 all getting involved here, and that's just, that's heads up driving. I don't know, obviously just coming down the straightaway into the corner, so I mean, they do get a little bit of speed, but yeah, I don't know, Carl. It's a rough one here tonight.
Yeah, that was, again, it was entering the corner road. That was more of a lockup by the 75, entering the corner, slid right up to the 29. And a lot of cars just nowhere to go, unfortunately. And another car that we said is having a good run here tonight, the 69 there, Zane Bierman now, is going to have to fight back big time here as he's still in the pits. Might have already used the fast pair, maybe forgot to use a fast repair. Maybe he's just getting some damage repaired without using that fast repair. Either way, he's going to be down a lap or two here, as he's actually already down 2 laps. Still sitting in the pits, getting that 69 repaired. Out front, Alan Elwood still enjoying this lead here. We'll see the pace car lights go out. Getting close to halfway here already, even though we had plenty of yellow flags here, unfortunately. And as I said before, we've seen New Hampshire go 80 or 90 laps green flag. We've seen it go 15 plus yellow flags. It's just which magic mile is going to show up that night. But right now, Alan Elwood, Jack Stoneman, Matthew Simmons, Jonathan Schwartz, and AJ Roderick for your top 5. James Hislop, JP Phillips, Jake Lesh, Matt Crockett, and Chad Coleman for your top 10.
Irish might be looking for Magic Mike out there here shortly. Keep things entertaining.
Barry's had his eye on the 38, trying to work his way back up through the field after pitting on lap number 3 to get some fuel. Now Coleman's got the 38 back up into the top 10.
It's
Hop on board over here with Alan Elwood once again for the restart. And hopefully, again, we'll get some green flag racing here. Good restart here from the front of the field. Again, the 5 going to head off into turn number 1 with an easy lead here over the 25, the 199 of Jonathan Schwartz. Looks to the inside of the 25, not going to happen. So it'll be Elwood, Stoneman, Schwartz, and Simmons onto the backstretch for the top 4 here. Jimmy, New Hampshire kind of living up to why you don't like the track here tonight. But is it necessarily the track, or is it, these drivers, just a lot of, kind of newer drivers out there around each other? I mean, we've seen a few incidents though from, our more experienced drivers. I mean, Kelly Pointer been in the league here for a while now. He's been out here, caused a couple incidents. As we're watching Matt Crockett here almost lose it. We've seen Tommy Ryan, a driver that we don't normally see get involved in hardly anything. He's involved in an incident here tonight, so it's catching even some of the better ones here, as Jack Stoneman into the outside wall. Not sure what happened here. He's going to pull the 25 down to the bottom and into the pits. Didn't see what exactly happened here to Stoneman. We'll try and take a look back here, see if we see anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Oh, right there,
well,
yeah. Yeah, we'll rewind it here a little bit and see what happened here.
What was that?
Oh, got loose going into the corner, and when he went to correct it, it was a snap correct. And unfortunately, it snapped him into the outside wall. Big, heavy impact right there.
Yeah, I think he just heavy damage, Carl. Just waited for the field to kind of go by to get out there, but
he knew he needed to come into the pits and get that thing repaired for sure.
Yeah.
Looks like Dalton Drummond's had a bit of an incident here when we were taking a look at that one as well. Take a look and see what happened as he ends up getting meatball on this one. Lose it out of turn number 2 by himself, and this is where that that easiness on the throttle needs to come into play, and be battling there with Courtney Nelson. Didn't work out too well there for the 4. Ends up getting a meatball. We are still green. Out front, it is Alan Elwood. He's got a 1.6 second lead over Jonathan Schwartz, now sitting in second. But AJ Roderick, I know we haven't had to make any kind of green flag pit stops. Heck, he hasn't made a pit stop at all, along with a lot of these others out here tonight. And doing well right now in 3rd. It looks like we have Ben Phelps with a bit of an issue. He went off track, but he's back on track, whatever it is right now. James Hislop up there in 4th. Looks like Matthew Simmons and Joey Cruz involved in something here. I don't see the caution flag coming out. There it is now. The caution flag does come out. We'll see what brought this one out here. Looks like Simmons already got some damage, locked it up behind the 92 of Hislop and tried to save it, but unfortunately came down across the nose of Jake Lesh, and then Joey Cruz locks up right behind him as well. So going to bring us another caution. We are now past the halfway point, so this is if this is going to be just a one pit stop race, I mean, I would assume they're going to have to pit at least once. We're past the point right now that they can make it to the end clearly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they can, make it the whole way. So it's going to be interesting for these drivers for sure. But yeah, well, I guess we'll find out, Carl. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words. I mean, you can only say, this cautions breeding cautions here tonight. So obviously drivers needing the attention, but it does look like no fake out this time by as Alan Elwood brings the field down. But like I said, there's going to be a few drivers that stick it out there. One being that 66 of Tommy Ryan, but not going to have the benefit of having a lot of drivers behind them. So, but they're going to stay out there and get back towards the front.
He's going to have, looks like 4 others staying out here because all these drivers pit in the lap, the last caution flag here. Tommy pit on lap number 32, Flickinger pit on 36. They got Phelps and Orduna on 32, and then Joe Thomas on 23. So very possibly we could see these drivers try and stretch it to the end. And Tommy did get new tires on lap number 32, and it didn't seem like tires meant that much. So the fact that, Elwood is back there now in 7th with a new set of tires, maybe it's going to take him a little bit to catch up to Tommy Ryan, and we'll see what that 5 can do in dirty air as well. He's not going to have the fresh, clean air at the front. Tommy Ryan will. You see the 69 there, Zane Bierman, looking to get one of his laps back here and get him back to 2 laps down, as he'll get the wave around. Should be this time by. And there you see him take off around the pace car. So we're going to double it up here again. Tommy Ryan now finds himself back up at the front. Colin Flickinger in 2nd, Dan Phelps, Louis Orduna, and Joe Thomas for your top 5. You got Dave Tilford, Alan Elwood, Ricky Renner, AJ Roderick, and Jonathan Schwartz for your top 10. But Jimmy, I know it's been a little bit of a caution fest here in the first half, but now here's where it gets interesting, because you got some drivers that have not seen the front of this field here too often, and certainly not too much here at all tonight. They're up front now. They got the front 5, 6 cars have not been up here all night.
Yeah, there's a few cars that might not have had to be or been up front, but obviously a few drivers that want to get back to the front here. And can they, is this what they needed? Did they need that everybody come down and get tires? But it does look like the yellow flag will come back out and they get extended here. Some drivers are still catching up in the back.
Yeah, I seen an incident there for Jeff Ryan. I'll take a look back and see what happened. Looks like he's slowing up to try and let these cars by, and I think that's why we got the caution extended here one more time. As he was stopped on the outside to try and let these cars by. But we'll hopefully get this thing back going here. I mean, it's another lap under caution, but it's another lap that didn't cause a caution. So there's that. Got that going for us. Nobody wrecked on that lap, so it was a good lap. Either way, Tommy Ryan's going to lead them back to the field. As you see the pace car just comes ripping through everybody right there to pick up the field. We'll get it going here this time by, but you see that the field, just looking at the timing scoring tower there, you got the platinum driver Tommy Ryan up front, then you got 2 silver drivers, you got 2 bronze drivers, you got a gold driver, and then you finally have a man that's been leading this entire race here so far, Alan Elwood, waiting until now to come into the pits and get the fuel to get him to the end. But back to the restart zone here. We are green this time by, back to racing. The 66 now your leader.
At 66 out front now is taking advantage of the caution and having that pit stop already done, as see drivers back to the field too wide going into the corner. And
Louis
Orduna
gonna head hard, spin up to the track. He did get collected by somebody at the back there. I believe that was Chad Coleman. And we'll take a look back here and see what brought this one out. Looks like we're doing just getting on the gas a little bit too early there. Or maybe worried about getting up there into Dan Phelps. So Chad Coleman gets collected right there. And then here's where the 00 of Terry Jansen gets involved. Looks like the 134 there, just sliding sideways, locking up. Good job there. And record avoiding survey, Stephen Harris. But Orduna and Jansen get at it with a meatball on this one. And again, we've seen Orduna starting to maybe have a good run, and it gets thrown away again. It's a shame there for the 3 here tonight. but certainly I'm sure Tommy Ryan doesn't mind these cautions right here. It's less laps that he's going to try and hold that 5 Alan Elwood back, as Elwood's now back up to 5th already. Keep an eye on Dave Tilford as well. He pit on that lap with Alan Elwood. Didn't take tires. He took tires earlier on in the race, so just fuel only. Got him up there now into 4th. Highest running gold driver right now. Tommy Ryan leads the way. Tilford, highest runner in the gold division. Flickiger is running in 2nd, and the top running silver driver. And then Dan Phelps running in 3rd right now is the highest. I'm sorry, Joe Thomas is the highest running bronze driver, as he is. Joe Thomas is. He's back there in 6th place right now. So good run there for Joe Thomas for the time being as well. But we still got plenty of racing yet to go. Still got 35 laps to go. It'll be 34 here at the line. Again, still waiting to see a nice little green flag run. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it might be out there, but might not find the night as we work our way around the track here. Obviously, we're 51 laps in, 85, and yeah, Carl, just a unique situation here tonight for the drivers, and you know, trying to get things done and do everything. But yeah, tough break for a lot of these drivers, and you know. But we're out here tonight. Obviously, it's gonna go in the books. So whether the driver's gonna do a drop race for this one, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it's who's gonna win tonight. We're gonna get a new winner here tonight, as we had Kelly Pointer win the first one, and we had Alan Elwood pick up the next one. So, but we have some other drivers up there now looking to possibly get a win. You got the 66 of Tommy Ryan's been close. Dan Phelps maybe trying to get his nose in there. Dave Tilford with a good strategy at the moment, trying to get things done, and you know, never know who's gonna poke their nose up there and see about finishing and getting a victory here. But pace car is in as they start to green, as the outside car leading on the start car.
Yeah, Kelly Pointer getting the first win of the season. You get the #1 there, but I think there's maybe another #1 finger that I maybe getting shown here tonight by a few of the cars, as some bumping and banging. Somehow we stay green here as Joe Thomas gets used up there a little bit and gets sent towards the back, as a few cars getting sideways, but we're going to keep it green here. Everyone got straightened back out. Tommy Ryan leads the way, but now Dave Tilford gets involved. Joe Thomas is going to get involved here as well. Looks like Dan Phelps. We're going to bring out another caution here.
Yeah, another caution here. Let's see what happens.
Looks like
man,
Jonathan Schwartz coming up and hooking the back end of the 12. 85 gets hit there hard. You see Joe Thomas locked it up, but could not stop in time once he got to the 12 there of Dave Tilford. So now Thomas and Orduna already had the meatball, but Thomas going to have a meatball there as well. Going to tow it back into pit lane. This definitely been a rough one here tonight.
Too rough. You know, and they got plenty more to go. Obviously, still got about 30 more laps to go out here, and you know, you've seen how obviously Alan Elwood's been able to use that extreme low line underneath the down on the apron in order through some of these corners to get the car kind of like, you know, just down there, can work on it and you know, trying to get it rotated, and it works really well. It seems to be working for him very well. He's made a few passes down there. Yeah, using the apron to make moves.
I mean, it's working. He's got himself got that 5 back up to 2nd place right now. Tommy Ryan in the lead, though. He's going to be in the control car here, but does he have tires to be able to take it to Alan Elwood here? He's got 13 lap older tires than Elwood. But the clock is ticking here. The time is running down here when it comes to the laps. I mean, right now, we're looking at less than 30 laps to go once we get this thing back under green. Still plenty of racing, but the way these cautions are going, you know, how much racing is going to be under green, and is it that, you know, Tommy Ryan just needs to get 12 more good restarts to finish this thing off the way everything is flying here tonight. But Elwood's going to be in 2nd. Flickiger, Roderick, Schwartz for your top 5. Renner, Nelson, Phillips, Skozen, and Lesh for your top 10. So good bounce back here for Lesh. Get the 51 up there into the top 10. Biggest mover of the race right now, Josh Van Westen up 17 spots. He's just outside the top 10 there in 11th. The biggest driver going backwards here tonight, unfortunately, Kelly Pointer is looks like he's going to be done here tonight, finishing in 32nd position, down 26 spots. But the pace car lights are out. We're going to have 29 laps left in this thing. Let me get some green flag running in here before this thing is over.
Oh, well, I'm sure they're going to give it a try here, Carl. As a restart number, I lost count, and definitely, you know, Alan's been using that really low line for his starts. Now he's up there on the outside, so you know, can you know, anybody behind him tuck their nose behind Tommy Ryan and disturb that 5, and you know, the way things have been going, you know, could end up getting hooked. You know, as he's not going to have that clean air or clean space, but pace car's going to come in. He's going to give it the old college try here as they take it down, and Tommy calls the race here. So he gets a great start, and Alan's going to get a really good run start as well. He has a clear right now if he wants to drop down, but he decides not to. You can see them drivers going 3 wide behind, and him and Tommy are going to go 2 wide as they exit turn number 2, 3 wide behind them. Still looking good, as they head down to turn number 3.
Ryan's got the inside line. We'll be seeing Elwood do very well on an outside line and be able to defend. Kenny gets on the offense here as we get a car around, and Ryan is going to hold on to the lead by a bumper as he was just ahead when the yellow flag came out. Looks like Colin Flickiger is going to be the one involved in this one. The 67 is around. We'll take a look and see what happened on this one. And looks like the 199 slides up here. Mid-corner gets in the 67. Looks like Skozen gets a piece of it. But for the most part, some good avoidance by a lot of the drivers going around here. But that incident right there is going to give Tyler Skozen a meatball. It didn't look like it was that hard of an incident. We'll take a look at it here one more time with Skozen, and see the 67 going around in front. Oh, because of where it caught the right front there, and you see it went right to the wall. That right front was not turning at all, and
yeah, that right front is even dragging on the ground, even just kind of looking pulling it after the impact, and he hit the wall. But that right front was definitely damaged. Guy broke a linkage or something.
Looks like it's rolling right now, enough to get the 55 back into pit lane. We'll see if he's at least got a fast spare to try and work his way back up here in the field as he overshoot his pits. No, looks like he's in the pits, and I don't see a fast spare being used there, Jimmy, so that could very well be the night, or certainly be a long repair there for the 55. And that's a shame, as he was trying to work his way back up through the field inside the top 10, and we really just nothing he can do, unfortunately. But this will give a little bit better opportunity, I think, for Tommy Ryan to make sure he can make it to the end if there was any kind of doubt here, as we get some more unfortunate caution laps here tonight. We should be 25 laps to go once we get the green flag. We'll take a look and see. It looks like I did hear somebody just blow up right there in pit lane, I believe. But pace car lights are out. That's never happened to anybody, Jimmy. I don't know how who would blow up in their pit stall.
I don't know who would do that. Have not a clue.
It's never happened to me. Never happened to me at was it Nürburgring?
No, it
wasn't Spa, I don't think.
24-hour Le Mans,
yeah.
I believe.
Yep,
yeah.
Either way.
We took damage, got a meatball, went in there to get it repaired, and as it's getting repaired, almost finished. The engine blows through another meatball. That was classic.
I was trying to keep the engine warm. It was a little too warm, apparently. It wasn't getting any air to it, but either way, we're going to get this thing back going here, and you see how important these restarts are going to be. Elwood knows he's got to get a good one here to try and get ahead of Ryan in case another caution comes out, but an early jump on the gas there from the 66. As soon as they get to the restart zone, he's going to clear easily into turn number 1. Elwood's going to dive into the outside again and try and get an advantage, but it's a little bit looser. He's got to save it. Slides back in behind the 66. Now looking for a run down the backstretch. Going to look to the inside into turn number 3. Dives it down in there, and a bit of an asphalt slider. Parks the bus. Does not let the 66 get back on by. The 5 back to the lead. Great move.
Yeah, Alan's got a natural knack for these cars here and able to, work it the way he needs to. And obviously, Tommy is, now struggling maybe with a little bit of tire difference between the two cars. And Alan now has the upper hand with some fresher set of tires. After getting the first race taken away from him, and no fault of his own, just by accident, Kelly just happened to have a set of tires that work his way through the field. But right now it is Alan Elwood out front over Tommy Ryan. Jonathan Schwartz now in third. Courtney Nelson breaking into in the top 5 as well, sitting in 4th with AJ Roderick in 5th.
AJ gets a little loose there on the outside, gonna have to sacrifice that position as a 29. Now moves himself back up into 4th. Good battle right there. We take a look at a few battles back here. Jake Lesh now just losing out. 9th position to Jack Stoneman. As you see Stoneman down there on that apron as well. Gonna use that apron transition to help rotate the car. Back a little further in the field, we got some more battling with James Hislop on the outside of Dave Tilford, who's battled for 16th and 17th. And right in front as well, a bit of a gaggle as you got Matthew Simmons on the outside. You got the 280. Nathan Nickerson trying to run up the inside here. Almost gets in to Jeremy Gainey. But now, since we've had a couple green flag last week, can we say that it's the battlefield? Since they actually have a little bit of time to battle?
I mean, the track's a battlefield tonight, Carl. I mean, there's mines all over the place, but a couple green flag or laps in here, and obviously still some 3 wide. Drivers now trying to obviously know that it's like, hey, I got a window opportunity to possibly gain a couple positions. So who's going to become impatient and try to work these cars up through? I mean, they still got to practice, the patience, and it takes a long time to make up positions on an oval, especially short tracks, unless you got some serious new tires. Your skill level is a lot greater than those around you, but right now it's about just getting around there patiently, hitting your marks, finding your way, waiting for that guy to overdrive a corner so you can get underneath them, or if you can drive around on the outside like Alan Elwood was able to do with Tommy Ryan. It's just right place, right time, right opportunity, you gotta take it. So right now the battle for P number 2 is Jonathan Schwartz now takes 2nd away from that 66.
Jake Coleman just moved into 5th as the Kit Kat machine looking for a break, and maybe that's what he needs here, right here, as we're going to get another caution.
Maybe.
Looks like Nathan Nickerson involved in this one, and unfortunately Dave Tilford as well. We'll take a look back and see what happened. 3 wide battling, and it looks like James Hislop gets in the 280 a little bit, and it sends him up into the 12 on entry, and it's like Tilford's night may just about be over. Doesn't have a meatball on this one, but the car does not look too friendly to drive, and the 280 doesn't look too much better there. This will be back there in 23rd and 24th, but late race caution and group it back up here. Alan Elwood is your leader. Jonathan Schwartz just got in front there, and we'll take a look and see that pass here as it happened right before caution came out. Some good battling here with Tommy Ryan, but again, Ryan 13 lap older tires than the 199 here. Excuse me, Jonathan Schwartz, and Schwartz just sends it off in turn number 1. Uses up the side of the 66 a little bit, and that makes a pass right before the caution. Lights fly, so he's going to be up there in 2nd. We got a few drivers from the front though, as you go back live into pit lane, as we got AJ Roderick sacrificing a spot towards the front here. I know we still got some laps left to go, Jimmy, but we haven't really seen tires be that big of a difference to be able to drive through 15 cars here at the end. So pretty interesting to see, giving up some good track position here. Maybe Roderick just kind of felt like it's gonna go backwards here if I don't come in and take some kind of tires before this thing is over.
Yeah, I mean, they had to do something, right? So obviously trying to get in there, get things done, and and get some sort of results. And some of these drivers, maybe they got a fast repair, maybe they still have a set of tires. I mean, now's the time to take it. I mean, you're running down to only 15 laps to go. We've seen late drivers come in, look for little tires late, but this track's tough to pass on, even with newer tires. So not saying it's not going to net them a couple positions, but we'll see if it's enough to get them up in the top 10.
Well, we're going to get it back green next time by, and it's going to be 15 laps to go. AJ Roderick's got 15 cars in front of him, so he's going to pass an average of 1 per lap, including his teammate Alan Elwood at the front, but that's going to be a tough task for the 56. We'll see if he can at least get up there and maybe battle for a top 10, top 5, maybe even a top plus here with a podium finish here tonight. Top 10 looking like this right now. You got Alan Elwood at the front, Jonathan Schwartz, Tommy Ryan, Courtney Nelson, Chad Coleman for your top 5. Then you got JP Phillips, Joey Cruz, Matthew Simmons, Jake Lesh, and Matt Crockett for your top 10. Joey Cruz, biggest mover of the race here, started back there in 27th. He's up 20 spots right now in 7th place. We've definitely seen that the 28 get in, maybe not involved in too much here tonight, but he's been around some of this action that he probably doesn't want to be involved in. But now he's at the action in the front. We'll see if that 28's got anything. One of these drivers in front of him. We're back to racing here. Good restart here from the 5 of Elwood. The Schwartz or anyone behind him have anything to say before this win, as it's tight racing here for third, as Tommy Ryan is just going to hold off the 29 there. Courtney Nelson through 1 and 2.
So you're watching up front through some 3-wide action there by Jack Stoneman getting underneath the 280, and Drummond's back there with some newer tires trying to make those work for him as well, getting underneath the 280 right now as well. So yeah, some of them drivers back in the back, trying to get those new tires to kind of work for them, but you can just watching some of these drivers are really getting into them corners and almost overdriving it, but with the newer tires able to kind of make up that ability to get some grip down on the inside. But 280 fighting back for Drummond's, and then obviously move back towards the front where the battles are happening. JP Phillips and 2 wide with Joey Cruz, as Joey Cruz down the inside. Looks like JP might get the upper hand on the outside here, Carl.
Cruz going to send it in 1 and 2. Moves up a little bit, but yeah, that outside line, it's got a good run there for JP Phillips. We just can't fully get the power down, so they're going to be side by side for 6th and 7th here, heading into turn number 3. Again, Cruz going to send it in. He gets sideways, tags the 20, and looks like the 10 going to get involved in this one as well. Just a little bit too much overdriving there from the 28, and unfortunately, it's going to hurt the chances here for a few drivers, including himself, as looks like Cruz going to have a meatball. Tilford now is going to have a meatball after this one as well. I didn't even see him get involved in that one. JP Phillips going to be obviously towards the back of the field as well. So just a lot of overdriving here tonight by some of these drivers going into the corners, especially. You've seen it right there. We'll take a look at it here one more time. Joey Cruz just battling with the 20, dives it in there, and that little transition right there catches him, sends him for a loop, and unfortunately for Matt Crockett, nowhere to go on that one. Zane Bierman does a good job of locking it up right there towards the 28 and the 69. But it's going to bring us under another caution, and a late race caution at that, as we're going to have less than 10 laps to go when we get this thing back to green.
Yeah, they got a lot of work, obviously, I'm sure us admins will be a little busy here tonight trying to make some decisions on some of the things that have happened here tonight, but you can see pit lane just kind of tattered with mangled cars and beat up bumpers, and something we haven't seen in quite a while here at CORE. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of people are unhappy, and it's going to happen because it's short track racing, and yeah, the competitiveness comes out. But up front, it's still Alan Elwood with Johnson Schwartz in 2nd, Tommy Ryan's in 3rd. Courtney Nelson in 4th and Chad Coleman in 5th. James Hislop's back in 6th. Jake Lesh up there, up 12 spots in 7th. Jack Stoneman's back in 8th. Ricky Renner's found himself up in 9th, and then Collins in 10th. I got Dan Phelps, Dalen Drummond's your biggest mover, up in 12th at the moment. Zane Bierman back up there in 13th. Nathan Nickerson in 7th. Robert Matthews back there in 15th, up 14 spots. And Dave Tilford trying to work his way back. He's in 16th. Gary Wright just found himself up in 17th after a bunch of incidents early. Jeremy Gainey in 6th. Joey Cruz back in 19th. And Matt Crockett for your top 20.
Definitely want to give Gary Wright his due here again. Started shotgun on the field here tonight. We mentioned so many times about the I rating and everything like that, but he's once again got caught in the first incident there, but seems to have kind of righted the ship here for the 11, just cruising through this race, trying to avoid all the incidents happening. And right now he's about halfway through the field, up 15 spots in actually 16 spots in 17th. So good on the number 11 out here tonight, but. Alan Elwood going to lead him back to the green here once again as we're doubled up here. Jonathan Schwartz going to catch back up here. Base car is going to make the left-hand turn here one more time. 9 laps to go here at New Hampshire. How many can we get green is the question. It's been a little bit rough here tonight. Tommy Ryan gets a great restart there in 3rd. He's going to send it off into 1 and 2, try and reclaim 2nd place. And maybe going to do so, trying hard on the outside as a 199. He's going to hold the nose there and force Ryan to stay on that inside, not be able to open up here. Be battle into turn number 3. Ryan going to try and get up there, maybe use up the 199 now a little bit as he goes through 3 and 4. This is definitely helping out Alan Elwood at the front as he starts to stretch away, but good battling right behind him.
Yeah, Tommy trying to do what he can without, putting the right side of the 66 into the 199, and then getting in the wall and taking out a big portion of this front of this field. But heck of racing up there, as you can see behind them, they're starting to heat up as well. With a 25 going down there on the apron to make it
wide off the corner.
Squeeze.
As the racing's definitely amping up here. We got 7 laps to go. And unfortunately, Jack Stoneman is not going to get either of those passes done. Taking a look at Chad Coleman here, trying to get around Courtney Nelson. Been some good battling here side by side. Jack Stoneman scraping against the wall. You're going to lose a little bit of time, but towards the back, it looks like Matt Crockett involved in an incident here. Going to bring us under a caution. Could get us very close to a green-white checkered here. As we'll take a look and see what happened on this one.
Few more meatballs are flying.
And mid-corner, just losing the 10 as he goes around here, but he was out there by himself. I'm not sure what happened here on the backstretch is the question, because we definitely had some more incidents going on, and right there you see it. As Bierman gets checked up there by Flickinger into Dan Phelps, and then some heavy impact there as a few more getting caught up in it. Both Bierman and Phelps caught up with a meatball there, and that one maybe a little bit more racing incident as Bierman was kind of caught behind the 67 there. But Alan Elwood is still your leader, and certainly rightfully so. He's been one of the fastest, if not the fastest car out here tonight. Spent a little bit of time back there in the back half of the top 10 when he came in to finally make his pit stop, but quickly made his way back to the front, and he's been the one showing the way right now. Tommy Ryan got himself back in the 2nd, but now he's going to have to restart on that outside, and he's going to have Jonathan Schwartz there starting in 3rd. They've been doing some good battling. Actually, looks like Courtney Nelson maybe in 3rd place here on this restart. So either way, there's been some good battling out there. When we had some green flag laps, there's been some good racing. I will say that, but it's just too few and far, unfortunately, in between these green flag laps.
Yeah, it's not the race that the drivers are really looking to have tonight, I'm sure. But there has been spotlights of great racing, and obviously that's what you got to do. You got to make the best of what you got, and right now I'm doing just that. Obviously Alan Elwood taking advantage of his pit stops and having the newer tires over Tommy Ryan this week. But obviously battling for Tommy. Or with Tommy, obviously in second, that's going to keep at least the points at least close, overall. But still, he'll gain a little bit, but not like a whole ton. Like if something could happen here to Tommy, he could fall to the back, which would be the worst case scenario. Or something could happen to Alan, and he could fall all the way back. But more likely, it's with Alan out front, he's going to be able to get that nice jump. Very minimal laps here to kind of battle back. The only thing that's going to hold up Alan, I think, on a win here, Carl, is just if the drivers can't get around here without wrecking again. I wouldn't expect expect not to have. I mean, we're not on a green white checker yet, so they'll take the flag here with 3 laps to go. So can they get around here twice before they can end this thing?
Well, here's the problem, Jimmy. I think we're paying our penance for Michigan last week. I mean, to start the season, we only had 3 cautions at Charlotte to start the season. 0 cautions last week after everybody thought Michigan was going to be rough. We'll end up going caution-free tonight. We're paying the piper, I think, and hopefully these drivers get it out of their system at this track, and we can get a little more green flag racing the rest of the season. But we're back to racing here. Seeing way too many meatballs on the time and scoring tower as well. But yeah, and that's just from the ones that you can see. I believe there's that is the only 4 out there. But good battling here once again. Jonathan Schwartz again to the inside here of Tommy Ryan. Going to push him up far enough that now Chad Coleman sticking his nose to the inside here. A little sideways through 3 and 4. Back to the line. 2 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Can we at least finish this thing under green in regulation is the question, as a 66 trying to inch his way up to the inside. There, gets loose off the corner. Great save there. He's going to lose a few spots doing so. They're going to battle now for second as the 38 of Chad Coleman to the inside of Courtney Nelson. Going to move up into third. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Didn't seem like we were ever going to get to this point. With the white flag now in the air. Alan Elwood out front. He's got about a 4/10 of a second lead. I think it's just a little too much for Schwartz to make up here at the end. We'll keep an eye back here in the top 5 as Jack Stoneman now around the outside to take over 4th place from Courtney Nelson, as they're doing a good battle here now down into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Tommy Ryan one more time. Gets a little bump there from Jake Lesh, but not going to be enough. Alan Elwood, your winner here tonight. Schwartz, Coleman, Stoneman, and Nelson for your top 5. As they were definitely some of the faster cars out here tonight. Congrats to them and the rest of the top 10. But there's definitely a lot of drivers out here that I'm sure are going to be going back to the drawing board for sure. And there's going to be a lot of drivers licking their wounds. A lot of drivers leaving here with some penalties too.
Yeah, it's obviously a bunch. They're gonna get some, obviously maybe they finished bad tonight, and on top of maybe a couple penalties to go on top of that to kind of hinder their points race here for the season. But obviously this one's in the books, ladies and gentlemen, and it's over. 85 laps here at short track racing. Now Elwood gets the win over Johnson Schwartz and Chad Coleman.
We're in our top 3 here and for their interviews in a second. Once again, I want to thank simraces.com for the series sponsorship here. I want to thank all the fans out there and Sierra Nation as well for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer. While we're getting these top 3 here in there, maybe getting a few drivers through a concussion protocol as well, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of tonight's finishing order?
Yeah, tonight's finishing order is going to be... 1 second. Where's that? Oops. Your winner is going to be Alan Elwood with Jonathan Schwartz in second, Chad Coleman in third, Jack Stoneman in fourth, Courtney Nelson in fifth, Tommy Ryan finishes back in sixth, Jacob Blesh in seventh, Ricky Renner in eighth, Dayton Drummond's back in ninth, JP Phillips in 10th, Jerry Cruz finishes in 11th, 12th being Dave Tilford. Colin back in 13th, Robert Matthews in 14th, James Hislop in 15th, Nathan Nickerson in 16th, Gary Wright in 17th, Matt Crockett back in 18th, Matthew Simmons back in 19th, 20th is Josh Van Westen, 21st Jeremy Gainey, 22nd Jeff Rhines, 23rd Stephen Harris, 24th Zane Bierman, Dan Phelps back at 25th, AJ Roderick in 26th, Terry Jansen in 27th, Tyler Scozen finishes in 28th with Joe Thomas back in 29th. 30th is going to be Luis Orduna. Michael Schwartz finishing in 31st. Kelly Pointer calling it quits early, finishes in 32nd. And Troy Snyder rounding out your 33 car field here tonight.
Yeah, certainly a good showing in regards to car count out here tonight, but certainly not a good showing in regards to the amount of cautions that the field's seen here tonight. Again, started the season looking promising with 3 at Charlotte, and then even better with 0 at Michigan last week. But I guess, Jimmy, you know, I said we've had caution-free races here at New Hampshire, and we've had 15 plus cautions at New Hampshire. Jimmy, we've only had 14, so should I be happy about that? I'm certainly not. I mean, 44 laps out of 85 is I'm sure not the way these drivers wanted it, let alone us up here in the booth.
No, it's not what they wanted, you know, and neither do we. And obviously, it's a lot more fun when you get to actually call the race for, you know, the passes that they make. But covering wrecks and watching people, you know, make mistakes or overdriving the car, you know, it's obviously part of the learning process here at some of these tracks. And if you don't have the time on the track, do highly recommend getting out there and putting in the extra time at somewhere that you're not familiar with. I know as much as I would have hated to be out here myself, I would have spent a good week, or, you know, at least a few days just kind of driving this track, knowing how the car will handle, and work out there, and then obviously take the opportunity, as much opportunity you can during the open practice, to get out there and not necessarily run hot laps, but to run out around traffic, you know, so waiting up for people and trying maybe some track avoidance or some wreck avoidance, stuff like that, just so you know where and how cars react, and hopefully get behind maybe the people that you race around commonly, and you know, figure out where their braking points are. And if you can't seem to get out on the track with them, if they're out there running laps, you know, hop in the car, hop in the camera, and watch their braking locations, and give you an idea, you know, where people are going to drive.
And if you don't know, play it on the safe side. You know, if you think they're going to brake at the 3 board, back it up even further than that. Or I should say, if you think they're going to brake at the 2, plan that they're going to brake at the 3, and give some room, because being aggressive definitely doesn't pay off for you or a lot of the drivers out there. But we got our top 3 now in for their interviews. We're going to go ahead and start off tonight with our 3rd place finisher, and that's going to be the 38 of Chad Coleman. Chad, certainly a rough race out there for a lot of drivers. I gotta imagine it was certainly a little hectic for you. We've seen that Kit Kat machine at the front, at the back, at the front, at the back. You may have passed maybe the most cars here tonight, but somehow you're up there at the end and able to pull out a 3rd place finish here tonight. So it's got to feel relieving, I guess, is maybe the best word.
Yeah, I was telling Tommy, I said, man, I just want a clean race. I was like, I've had bad luck the first 2 races we ran, and like I said, I just trying to get a top 5 here, and then I got the 5th, and then pit stops happened, and the field got shuffled, and the guy spun off a 2 and hit the inside wall and ricocheted back across and killed me. So then we restarted again in the back, I think like 23rd or so, and I probably pissed a couple of guys off making some passes, but I guess it comes with the territory when you're racing a flat track like this. So it's we didn't run over anybody, so we just kind of send it and stick it. So we come out pretty clean. I think I might have had one incident with the 4X, and that was from the guy bouncing off the inside wall and killing me.
Yeah, you definitely had some trials and tribulations out here, as a lot of the drivers certainly did. But in the end, you had some good battling. I mean, when we did have green flag laps, there was some good battling up there, and especially with you guys there, kind of all in the top five there at the end. You had no idea who was going to finish in these podium spots, other than your winner, Alan Elwood, here at the end. But you fought your way through there, get yourself a third place. So congrats on finally finishing with a good finish and a chance to get up here and talk to us here with a third. So. Take some time to celebrate this one. But before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Just thank all you guys for putting the league on for us, and also thank y'all for your broadcast work. And thanks to Tommy, JP, and Jeff, and everybody that we're running the channel together to have somebody to talk to while we do this. And tonight it was while we rode around under caution, but it happens. Sometimes you get really good races here at New Hampshire, and then sometimes you get a bad one. But we did have some fun racing once we kind of got a couple of pretty good guys at the front. But that was fun last few laps with me and Jack and Tommy and John and the 29 car. I can't remember his name.
Courtney, yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
it was definitely some good racing, and it's exactly what we said a few times up here in the booth, that it the magic mile giveth and taketh just as easily. And tonight it was definitely taking a lot of victims. But either way, congrats on the podium here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The third place finisher here tonight, the 38 of Chad Coleman. Second place, Jimmy, is going to go to the 199 of Jonathan Schwartz.
Hey, John, Jimmy, and Carl, open the booth to Cappy.
I got a copy.
Well, it was definitely an interesting race. A little caution plagued here tonight, but you're able to keep that 199 up towards the front. You qualified well and you finished well here tonight. So congratulations. Give us a little run on your race, and obviously with all the cautions, what were you thinking about like pit stops? Was it you had to make at least one stop, or was it in the books to possibly make a few?
Yeah, it looked like we had around 37 laps of fuel on a full tank. So if we were to push the whole way, it would have brought us to around like 74, around 10 laps short of making it. So definitely the plan wasn't initially to go for the one stop. But once we had those early cautions, then I started realizing, okay, maybe we can make it like 40, 42 laps or so. And if we can make it to 45 and then somehow go green like the second half, then maybe we can just make that second tire last all the way. Unfortunately, that strategy didn't seem to make much of a difference. It looked like Alan and I just put at like that last opportunity, like as soon as we could make it, but that was under caution. So that fuel saving during those early cautions didn't seem to make a huge difference. But it's kind of weird. Like this is the first track I actually started to practice pit entry and practice the long runs, and it's like I didn't practice long runs at all at Michigan, and that's the track.
Your fault.
Like,
No, this is why.
So okay, so next race I won't do. Okay, I won't do any practice next race, and we'll get the full caution-free race just for you.
Oh no!
But yeah, just pretty happy managed to qualify up front. I felt like it was pretty important track position-wise, regardless of cautions. It's actually just pretty difficult to pass here. Seems like once the tires start to fall off, then you have a chance. But it's like the outside groove is really where you start to get that run, and it's just hard to get around the outside of someone. So the tire difference, I think when we had that crossover, some guys pit early on and me and Alan were fighting through the field, that was actually like the most interesting part of the race, trying to keep the car clean as we had that tire offset. But yeah, I was really hoping we'd have a shot at the end there. I think we had a restart starting on the outside of Allen and just couldn't get one of the best restarts. Was hoping to pinch him on the outside of turn 1 or 2, but he just had some great restarts, which was really impressive. Also, kudos to Tommy. I think he gave us a really hard fight for second place and almost got it. He cleared us at one of those restarts. Luckily, we were able to get him back. So, yeah, kudos to those guys, and just happy I'm getting closer and closer to Allen. I feel like I'm gonna find him one of these days. Just need to have that good opportunity. But yeah, I know there was a bit of cautions in the back, but I feel like with these tracks, a lot of bumps, you get a lot of close racing. It's to be expected, and some incidents may have been a little bit more than reasonable per se, but other ones I haven't seen them yet. But from what I heard, it sounded like it's just hard racing. So yeah, definitely a short track race to be expected. Got to stay close, but you also, because it's pretty high speed in the corners with minimal banking, if you do get touched just the slightest bit, the grip in the car just really goes away. So it's hard to save these things. But yeah, luckily we didn't get in any scary situations.
Yeah, definitely were able to do that, avoid the big ones here tonight, and get yourself that podium finish here. So I want to say congratulations again for surviving and getting a great finish, and congratulations for practicing and not for your pit stop and not having to use it.
We do applaud you for that, even though it's your fault here tonight.
But either way, man, congratulations on the great run. It's good to finally get you up here and get a chance to chat with you a little bit. But we'll let you go. We'll give you a little bit of time for any shots you might have in that number 199 before we let you out of here.
Yeah, well, definitely looking to give a shout out to Delta Sport. Been racing with those guys recently, and also Sim Races. Ran with those guys for the Daytona 24-hour, and ended up getting a top 10 at GT3. So yeah, my friend Ricky was in here, and so hoping that both of us can maybe get a top 5 or something, possibly even a double podium later in the season at some point. That'd be pretty cool. And as well, of course, shout out to Core for the broadcast.
We really appreciate it, man. Again, congratulations. We'll have to talk to you next week, but until then, we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 199 of Jonathan Schwartz. Top spot here tonight, once again, is going to go to the 5 of Alan Elwood. Alan, certainly the fastest car out here once again, and 3 for 3 with the poles, 2 for 3 with the wins. Obviously, we know what happened at Charlotte, but I got to imagine, given everything that you've gone through in your core career, given what you've gone through at Charlotte and not having the right strategy at the right time, I got to imagine when you had to finally make that pit stop here tonight, maybe puckered your butt a little bit, knowing you had to work through some traffic quickly because of these cautions flying left and right.
Yeah, you didn't really know what was going to happen tonight, other than we may not have made it 5 laps. So you're just hoping that that it paid off, and actually could have gone a lot longer on fuel had we actually ran some laps. All them caution laps really amounted to saving quite a bit of fuel. And then if I recall correctly, I think Tommy lasted like 60 laps out there or something. So that just tells you how much fuel we were able to save, because before we even took the green, we couldn't make it on, like, we had to save to make it on one stop. And that's just how many laps we ran under caution. So, but it's great being out front because you can save as much as you want, run your own pace and what have you. So it really worked out with the way the cautions lined up. You know, being that they were so often, could really just dictate when I wanted to come in and get my tires and then stay out the rest of the race. And that's what happened. So really paid dividends being out front and using those laps.
Yeah, it was kind of I wonder what was going to happen just for that little bit with you and Schwartz and a few other the drivers finally coming in to make that first pit stop, and we seen tires didn't seem like it was that much of a difference. I mean, granted, you didn't really have a lot of time to wear those tires in here tonight, but were you concerned at all once you got up to Tommy, knowing that you had about 13 lap newer tires in him?
Yes and no. Just how fast Tommy is, that's really the concern. And as you guys saw, we were running side by side and really didn't have that much of an advantage once I got up to him. He really held that bottom line well, and as long as somebody can hold you to that outside and you not be able to cut on the apex, it's really hard to get a good exit here and keep the momentum up, even being on the outside. So he did a really good job of holding it down there. You send it deep and then kind of park it on the apex and then park that person outside to where they can't turn down, and you've got a really good chance to hold them. So that was the one time. And I had a lot of fun battling them there when we had that battle. And under the green, what we did have, it was fun trying to, keep those guys at bay, because there were some really fast guys up there running some good laps. So when we did have green laps, it was a lot of fun. But I figured in the end, probably the lap advantage on the tires would have paid off had we stayed green. But it is always going to be tough getting around Tommy because he's really fast.
Yeah, it seemed kind of strange, and I'm guessing I'm attributing it to the fact that it's kind of a flat track here. But a lot of times we see that outside line is good for defending or even, going to the offense when you have a little bit newer tires like you had. And we've seen you go to the outside before we ended up getting one of those cautions when you were in second and weren't able to make the pass before the caution came out. But it seemed like you'd gain on entry. You'd even gain a little bit in the middle of the corner. But coming off the corner, typically when you see that outside lane start to work and you get that run off the corner is actually when you'd lose a little bit of time.
Yeah. And like I said, just with him being as quick as he is and him holding that perfect line, it's really difficult. But you guys have driven here, I'm sure, and know that, there is just that little bit of banking that helps you. But this is probably the flattest track you may run on the entire service. There's just nothing there. So you can actually help yourself by running that low apron under the blue line, because there's a ton of grip down there, so you can make that work if you do it right. Just unfortunately we didn't get enough laps to go, because I think you would have really seen people move around and it probably would have played a really good race had it panned out that way.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of lines out there, but just a few that were decently fast. We did see you dip down there a couple times using that apron, using that little bit of transition to kind of help that car rotate around. We've seen one or two other drivers do it too. But either way, you get yourself your second win here already on the season, and certainly looking good as the start here. I mean, do you see any tracks coming up that you're not going to get the pole? Is there any tracks that you're not looking forward to here in the rest of the season?
No, we got some road guys in here. Coda.
Understandable.
There's probably some other guys in here would tell you at Coda. I am, and super speedways and stuff like that. Daytona, Echo Park. Those are going to be two tracks that flip a coin. Anybody could win the pole. And then Coda. I feel good about the rest of the tracks and the chances to get them there. But super speedways and the road course, I definitely think you'll see a shake up there for sure.
Well, either way, congrats again on your second win of the season, third pole. It's certainly been a good start to the season here. Maybe not exactly the way you wanted to start. You would have wished to go 3 for 3, but I'm sure it's starting to get a little bit bigger of a smile now after 2 straight wins here. So congrats on the win here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, Simrat Market, of course, being in the car every week. Crowder Racing Development. AJ had a really good run tonight. Proud of his efforts. Wish it would have panned out differently for him, but really good run on his part tonight. You guys up here in the booth for calling another great race. I can't wait to watch it back at work tomorrow. Everybody out there watching at home, appreciate y'all tuning in every week and letting us put on a show for you, and of course all the partners here and everybody that makes the league happen and everything. Yeah, it's been a good start to the season for sure. Let's keep it rolling.
Well, hopefully a little bit less cautions next week, and we can see what you guys can do racing up front, and hopefully get a little bit more than an hour for your lunch to watch this one here tonight. But either way, congrats again on the win. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see you at Auto Club next week.
Oh, we know we got to put on a good show for you next week because it's your favorite track. So
yeah, right.
we have to do something. If we can't do it in 8 lanes of availability on the track, I don't know what we're going to do.
Listen, you guys were scared. You guys were scared, and I heard a lot of people worried about Michigan last week. All of a sudden, you guys go caution free. So I'm expecting a little bit of the same next week at Auto Club.
I hope we can go. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Well, once again, that's your winner here tonight, the 5 of Alan Elwood, getting it done back-to-back weeks here in the CORE Xfinity Series presented by simraces.com. A little bit of a rough one out here for sure. We kept it under 15 cautions, so yay, but literally just by one. 14 cautions out here tonight is definitely not what these drivers are used to out here. I mean, yeah, again, the start of the season, maybe was just a little bit too good, and they need to finally get down to racing. But hopefully they got this out of the way now, Jimmy. They know we got Auto Club coming up next week. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I know you are as well, and certainly got some good ones yet on the schedule as well, because after Auto Club, Kentucky can certainly put on some decent races as well. Daytona certainly looms, as we basically got back-to-back super speedway races with Daytona, and then Echo Park, which is only a mile and a half but drives like a super speedway. But then as Alan mentioned, I'm sure a lot of drivers maybe worried a little bit about race number 8 being Coda, and probably happy that there's 2 drop races here on the season, and then Phoenix and Homestead finish out the season. Thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, both for myself and Jimmy from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the track.
Peace.